Y'all notice I'm keeping a long ways away from this treetop. That's so I don't spook them, because there's some good fish in here. Good quality fish. Those bigger fish tend to be a lot more spooky. Especially when you're fishing, you know, in pretty shallow water. And I've observed that through the years. So because of that, if they're a good quality crappie, I'll stay away from them just as far as I can and make long casts. That's another thing, and I don't think I've ever mentioned that before. I may have, but I don't remember me ever mentioning that, but that's pretty well a fact. Let's make another cast right there. These fish are suspended in about over 10 feet of water, but they're 3 feet deep. There he is, folks. There we go. Oh my goodness. This is a good one right here. Let's get back here to the back of the boat. Wow. This fish is putting it on me. Golly. I can't believe that fish. Let's see if we can flip him in. Oh, that's a good one right there. Good fish. Now he took that float under real quick. I mean, it busted down. Now that's a sign that there's some competition going on right there. Got to be. Well, let's get us another minnow. Now that was a pretty good sized minnow that I caught that one on. Let's see if I can put it back in the same spot. Let's see if we can get another bite. There he is. There's another fish. Oh my goodness. Another good one. Good fish right here. That's what I'm talking about, folks. When you find them, you can absolutely tear them up. There is a substitute for live bait, and that's artificials. Golly, I can't tell y'all how this fish is fighting. I'm going to go ahead and net him. Y'all excuse me. He's a little bit too big to flip with 4-pound line. That's a good one right there. That's the kind we're talking about. What a fish. Are y'all seeing that? Big crappie. Let's put him in the bucket right here. We'll take a look at the biggest ones here later on. I can feel that Arctic wind too. I mean, it's cold. So these fish right here are taking advantage of the weather. Alright, they're going to feed up just like any other fish before front as much as they can. Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard Gene the Fishing Machine here. Cold morning this morning. In fact, tomorrow there's going to be an Arctic blast or some Arctic temperatures hit the Tennessee Valley. So today I'm going to try to take advantage of that, but right now it's very cold. It's about 45 degrees this morning. The surface temperature is 55 degrees on top. And today we're going to be doing something that I love to do, especially before front, and that's fish with live bait for crappie. I just caught a good black crappie, about 3 feet deep, and my setup is real simple, folks. I use the smallest float that I can find. Matter of fact, I got some smaller than that, but that's a Betts float. It's about 7/16 of an inch in diameter, and that's about 1.25 inches long. Very small float. I have a little bitty split shot and a size 6 eagle claw hook, Aberdeen hook, light wire hook, size 6. The reason I'm using a size 6 is simply because I got some pretty good sized minnows. Now, if I'm having to use smaller minnows, store-bought minnows, and when I say having to use, a lot of times they have little bitty ones. I'll go from this size 6 hook to a size 8, and I'll slightly bend the hook gap open just a little bit, and you'll catch more fish like that. You know, in my opinion, the lighter hook and setup, like a split shot, the lightest split shot and the lightest hook that you can use is going to be the best for minnow fishing. The reason why is it don't wear your minnow out. You want your minnow to be just as frisky as possible. It don't matter if you're fishing in cold water temps or not. It's very, very important. The smaller the minnow, the smaller the hook. As a general rule of thumb is what I do. But everybody has their, that's just my opinion, folks. Now, as far as line, I'm using a 4-pound test, a vicious line, high vis line, monofilament. This is a neat little reel right here. It's a Bass Pro Shop Micro Elite, little bitty reel with a 6-foot light action eagle claw rod. And that's all I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to show you what kind of minnows I'm using, which is the second best minnow in my opinion. And I'll tell you my first choice. And let's just get busy and catch another crappie. Alright folks, let's look in here. I got a bunch of them right there. That's store-bought minnows right there. Tuffy minnows. I like them better than I do shiners. I believe they last longer. I believe they move more. And they can take a lick and keep on ticking, like small bluegill hitting them. It takes a lot to kill one of them. But these minnows right here, I just take this size 6 hook right here and open his little mouth and hook him right like that right there. Just like that. Right through the mouth. Not the tail, not the midsection, but right through the mouth. I want him to be able to swim like that and be able to get that, have that water flow over his little gills. It'll keep him alive a lot longer, to keep him friskier. But now that we've found the correct depth, and at the start of the fishing trip, I mentioned that right off the bat, that I finally found the right depth. I started off around 2 feet and didn't catch any. Fished for about 15 minutes. Then I lowered it another foot and boom, I caught one. So depth is real important. Now I knew these fish would be relatively shallow in this area. They have been for the last couple weeks. But still, a 1 foot difference makes all the difference in catching fish and not. But let's make another cast up there and see if we can't catch us another fish. Look here, I done got a bump. That quick. Now that could have been a bluegill, I don't know. But my first choice for crappie is going to be shad. Shad minnows, about 2 inches long. But I didn't want to bring my extreme bait tank and all that kind of stuff. Them shad are deadly when it comes to catching crappie, and especially big ones. This is my second choice, toughies. Third choice would be shiners, around 2 inches long. But the thing about minnow fishing is it's very important to pay attention to the size of minnow that the fish are feeding on. It makes a big difference. A lot of times they want a little bitty tiny minnow. I've seen that a lot of times. Even the bigger crappie do. It's hard to explain why that is, but it's just so. It's just a fact. Golly, there he is. There's a good one right here. Golly, I'm going to have to go back to the boat to land him. Good fish right here. Get on in here. That's not a bad fish at all. That's what we're talking about right there. I've been catching a lot of different kinds of fish. I've been catching a lot of yellow bass, which is a good deal. You want to catch them, but look here, what a beautiful fish right there. Another good one. We're going to have supper tonight. Yep. we're going to definitely have some good supper tonight. Mama Sue would be proud of me. She loves me. Yeah. Or I hope she does, folks. She's been with me for about 38 years. That's a long time. Let's put that one in the bucket. Now the thing about it is, now today is one of those kind of days where the fish are scattered, but live bait is so effective. Once you throw on a fish, it won't be long, and that he'll have it. They don't resist it. A lot different than an artificial bait. Where an artificial bait right now, I don't believe I would be catching them. The activity at the level of the fish right now is not too good. Not too good at all. They're slow about biting and they're scattered. And that makes it pretty tough. But the thing about live bait is it can't be beat. There's not an artificial made that can beat live bait. They try to disprove that, but God made minnows, these right here, for crappie to eat. Okay, amongst other things. You know, we've been through that. Crappie eat a lot of bugs and stuff like that, nymphs, but right now they're eating minnows. You drop that son of a gun right there on top of a crappie's head, it's Katie bar the door. So there is no doubt a fact that is the best presentation to a fish is live bait, and it's that simple. I'll always use the smallest float that I can get by with, and that's because it offers little resistance. And those fish, I want one small enough to where they can't really tell that there's any resistance at all going on. That way you have time to let the fish get that minnow in his mouth good enough to where you can set the hook. You know, a couple, 2 or 3 seconds after the float goes down, I'll just go ahead and set the hook. But you could wait 4 or 5 seconds. You know, of course you don't want him to swallow the hook, because you might catch a hook of fish that's not big enough, that's not legal to keep. These crappie absolutely cannot feel this cork though. Once they obligate and inhale that minnow in, they cannot feel that little float, and that's a plus. Used to, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I would use big old floats. I mean big old bulky floats. Crappie would bite, I'd watch it sink, and if I didn't time it just right, I'd miss them. And I missed a lot of crappie for the simple fact that they could feel the pressure of that big float, and they'd spit the bait, even though it was a live bait, real, they would still spit it. So that's another positive when you're using a little float. Oh, it's down. There's another crappie. There's another one right there, big son of a gun. But that I wait about 3 seconds. Once that float goes down, 2 to 3 seconds, and you can go ahead and hook that fish. He's shaking that head. He's wanting to get rid of that hook. Them little old cheap Eagle Claw Aberdeen hooks, folks, I tell you what, they're hard to beat. We'll go ahead and net him. They're hard to beat when it comes to crappie fishing. Or shell cracker. I love to use that same hook for shell cracker. Golly, that's a good fish right there. Woo-wee. Now we're talking about a big fish. Okay. Okay, let's get that right size minnow. It seems like today they're preferring about a 2-inch minnow. 1 3/4, 2 inches long, which is about the perfect size for a crappie. I caught one on a real big minnow a while ago. Alright, let's make another cast back there. That's about where I caught that old big crappie. About the same area, same place. Now it's down again. There's another one. There's another one. I'm putting it on their heads, what's going on right now. Yep. Golly, if I can get him around right here. That's the smallest one I've caught right there. I'm gonna let him go. That's about a 9.5-inch crappie. They ain't no need in keeping him. If he was a little bit bigger, I would, but let's let him go. Let's let him get a little bit bigger. Now, as far as, in my opinion, as far as the line that I'm using, the 4-pound test line, I could definitely use 6 and catch just as many fish. I mean, crappie are not line shy. They're not line shy at all, folks. So 6-pound test line, or even 8 if you wanted to use it, would be fine. But I just like light line. I like to give them a chance, a sporting chance, because you know there's always a possibility of hooking a really big crappie. And that, to me, that's sporty. To hook a big fish and then have to really worry about him breaking your line. You know, I've always been that way. Matter of fact, 2-pound I've landed some big crappie on 1-pound and 2-pound test line. They're strong. A crappie gets strong when they get around 14 or 15 inches. And of course bigger. That's when they really show out. They do have a lot of strength at that size. But other than that, they really don't. They're not a hard pulling fish at all. Alright, fish. Let's go. Sink that cork. Folks, if y'all are anything like me, and y'all are, look here. That's a good one. There's nothing like watching a float disappear like that one just did. I mean, that he hit it. When he hit it, the float jumped, just think. Then it started going under really slow. That's a crappie bite. That's a classic crappie bite. If he'll quit pulling, we'll put him in the bucket. Yep, that's a good size right there. Let's flip him on in here. Golly. That's a big son of a gun. Quit. I should have netted him. That's a good one. That's a slab, folks. Let's put him in the bucket. Ain't very long, but these Tennessee River fish ain't. They're just thick. There's no better bait than a live bait like we're doing right now. And I'm being honest, folks. There's a lot of artificials that's good. I mean, I use some good ones. Or I believe I do. I catch a lot of fish on them. But when all else fails, a minnow won't fail. There he is. That's probably a big crappie. Yeah, we got him. That's on a big minnow. Wow. All right, folks, let's take a look. This is about the average right there of them. They're just good eating size crappie right there. Big enough to fillet, no doubt. And I caught several of them. What a blessed day. It started off slow, then the fishing started picking up, and I actually threw back a bunch of crappie. What a blessing to be out here. It started off really slow. I found the depth at 3 feet with this simple rig. It just slides up and down the line. It's not a slip float. When they're shallow like this, I would rather use this. There's no reason for me to use a slip float. but 6 feet and deeper, then I'll rig a slip float. So there's several different ways you can go about live bait fishing for crappie, but there's no doubt, don't let anybody kid you, it's the most effective way to catch crappie. And to be honest with you, you'll catch your biggest crappie that you'll ever catch with live bait if you'll use it long enough. You'll find that to be the truth too. Your bigger fish will eat that live bait. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I want to say, God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. It is a privilege and an honor for me to entertain y'all when it comes to the sport of fishing. And I want to say God bless y'all for watching. Hey, woo. Doggone it. Somebody's running a chainsaw or something. I don't know what it is, but it's loud. Woo! 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 And to remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.